Hi guys and dolls! Today I'm going to review the Sigma Premium Professional Brush Kit. And before you go and you click the down bar to see if there's an FTC disclaimer, oh my god, is this another sponsored, Sigma brush review? Yes, Sigma did send these to me for review consideration. That has pretty much little to no bearing on how I'm going to review them for you. In fact, I will actually have links to my original 2 Sigma reviews. One was for the original brush kit and the other one was for their makeup line. And I think it's pretty clear that I was not a fan of their eyeshadows. So the fact that I made that review and did all that and the company still wanted to work with me is kudos to Sigma for being classy enough to not just listen to their positive reviews. Another thing about Sigma that a lot of people are turned off about is the fact that Sigma, they copied the style of a huge makeup company that is one of all of our favorites. And Sigma has actually recently remedied that. They have changed their numbering system for their brushes. Now, not all the brushes have been changed yet, and they haven't changed everything on their website yet. So Sigma actually has a really cool convenient little chart where you can actually see what the new numbers and stuff are. If you have the brushes, if you want to call them that now or whatever. So you can be like, oh, this used to be the SS129 and now it's the F10. So for the purpose of this video, I'm actually going to be using their new names. However, if you want to pop over to my blog, I did a comprehensive review of each and every single brush. All kinds of, just tons and tons of information is on the blog, so if you want to check that out, that'd be great. And that actually has every brush listed with its old name and with its new name, and then with its old name as well. So without any further blah blah blah, because this is a really long intro, I'm just going to jump right into reviewing them. Okay, so the brush set comes in the now iconic Sigma brush belt. I really like these, or not brush belt, brush roll. I really like these brush rolls. They're kind of like a leatherette. They're really easy to clean. I think mine's actually a little dirty right now because I have star powder from Makeup Forever all over my desk, which I need to clean up really bad. But anyway, snaps closed, opens up. Now it has the first couple little things where a couple of the brushes are, and then it has the other brushes that it has this little flap that keeps them protected, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to start talking about each brush. Okay, so my first brush that I'm going to talk about is the F20. This is formerly the 138. This is a very soft, large powder paddle style brush, I guess you could say. It is, I primarily use this to apply powder foundation. I think that it's a really, really good brush. I don't think it'd be good for applying all over powder, even though it's very large. I just feel like it's too dense and it would apply too much product, but that's personal preference and everything like that. Okay, so the next brush is the F25, formerly the 138. This is a very, very soft contour brush, at least that's how I use it. Now, I actually have lots and lots of uses for this. I contour, put blush on, powder, like face powder, pretty much anything you can think of that you would use any kind of powder or blush brush, this works fabulously for. Because it's so tapered and the brushes start so far down, it just blends everything so seamlessly, so perfectly. I need backups of this for my own personal use, and I need several for my kit so that I don't always have to, wash it and then, I love this brush. Love it, love it, love it. This is the one that I recommend probably the most highly out of all of these. Love it so much. The next brush is its smaller counterpart. This is now called the F35. It was formerly the 165. This is another small egg-shaped or dome-shaped tapered blender brush for the face. I use this one primarily for highlight, right along the cheekbone, under the eye for powder, on the chin, wherever. Really, really, really good quality. Again, because it tapers so far down, it blends everything seamlessly. These two are my absolute favorites in the whole kit and caboodle. The next brush is the F10, formerly the 129. It's super soft. It is a really great little powder brush. I say little because, let me show you as a comparison. This is the 134, or that's what it used to be called. This is the 150, which is now called the F30. This is the 129, which is now called F10. It's much smaller than these other brushes. It's a little bit smaller than the mini one of the 150. Now this one is really good for doing any kind of blush, contour, powder. Again, it's a very handy, multi-useful brush. I find that I reach for this more than similar brushes like this, but it's not a highly specific brush. It's not like some of these other ones that are very unique in shape. However, it's a very good, well-made brush. So, and also this is good for sweeping away fallout under the eye as well. This is the F15. This is formerly the 131 brush. This one is a duo fiber brush that is kind of tapered, and it's designed to be used with blushes, primarily cream blushes. Whenever you're using some kind of a cream product, it's a good idea to try to use a synthetic brush for a couple of reasons. A synthetic brush is not going to absorb as much of the product because it's not natural, and it also it's not going to pull on the synthetic hairs as much and break them off and create, you know, hairs all over your face. What I will say is that I think that this overall is kind of just a bad idea brush. Now I did use it for cream blush and for powder blush, and I found that in both instances it didn't work that well. The genius behind a duo fiber brush like this, actually one of the Sigma mini ones, is that it has the bristles spread apart to create a more pixelated look. However, when it's really dense like this and it's flat so they're all the same length, they actually will work uniformly together, so if you kind of buff it and blend it, it'll give you a nice uniform look. However, because of the way that this one is shaped, it kind of creates a streaky effect. At least that's what I had. You know, some people might have had a better experience with it, but I found it to be really streaky, and so I'm not really a fan of this brush, actually. If I were buying these as individuals, I would skip that one. Okay, so the next brush is the F65. This is originally the 192. Now this is like a little concealer foundation brush hybrid. I'm going to show you this really quick and I'll get to this in a second. This is, even this is kind of large for a concealer brush in my opinion. And this is, essentially this is meant to be a concealer brush, but for me it's very large. I think that this would be better if you had like a large area to conceal. For instance, if you had like a pregnancy mask or some type of hyperpigmentation, port wine stain, in any kind of large area burn scars, any kind of large area of hyperpigmentation or scarring that you want to cover. This would be good for, because it is dense enough to work with like a heavy cream foundation. So this would be good for my kit, but this is probably not something I'm going to personally use very often. I did actually try applying liquid foundation with this, and it took a while, but it did the job. The last face brush I'm going to talk about is the SS195. This is now called the F75. This is a larger concealer brush. It's nothing to write home about. It's a concealer brush. It works really well. For whatever reason, I prefer the 194, which is now called the F70. It's just, that one's a little bit smaller, and I don't know, I just prefer it to this one. But this isn't wrong or bad by any means. It's a little bit more tapered at the end. It's like it's a little thinner. Like there's less hairs on the edge, so it's really good for like getting up against something, or, you know, this is really good. This one is called the E50. This is formerly the 227. It's a very large blending out brush. Basically, this has pretty much one use, and that would be to like blend out highlight, at least for me. You could also use this as like a sweep of color all over the lid, but I actually prefer like very large like blender style brushes to do a sweep of color all over the lid. But yeah, really good brush. Highly recommend it. Use it all the time. It's awesome. The next brush is the E35, formerly the 222. This is a controlled or thinner, tapered blending brush. It's a little bit less wide than the SS224, which is a little bit almost, it's almost like a little eye kabuki the way that one is shaped. It's not tapered at all, really. This one's definitely tapered. I actually thought it was going to be a little tighter and a little bit more tapered, but honestly this is a really fantastic brush because it is tapered. It's usually just the end hairs here that actually touch your skin as you're applying eyeshadow or blending it out. However, because it is tapered, it also blends out at the same time that it applies color, so it gives you like the defined crease while also blending the colors out beyond the crease. So really good brush. I do use a brush guard when I dry it to keep it tight, and I'm going to have a video coming up sometime in the next week talking more about brush guards, doing a little review. This is the E25, formerly the 217. This is a blender style brush. I'm not very fond of this. I think that the mini version is just a little bit better. It's a bit bigger and a bit fluffier. I don't know if you can really tell because this one's dirty. And then this one also has like some little coarse hairs in it, and it doesn't actually make it scratchy or anything. Like, well, maybe it does. I don't care for this as much as I like this one. However, with that said, I actually do use this pretty often. Typically, like if I'm using like a cream shadow, like one of these Makeup Forever aqua creams, which I have little samples of, I'll use this one to blend it out because it is a little rougher, and sometimes rough isn't always a bad thing. It might not feel great, but it actually does a better job of blending. So this one's fine. It's not horrible or anything. I just, you know, I have other brushes that I prefer for just like blending in the crease. So this is the E45, formerly the SS226. This is the tapered crease blender. Now online theirs looks a bit more tapered than mine, and it's a bit fuller down here. It's not a big deal. Essentially, the idea behind this brush is that it's supposed to ride the line between a 224 and a 219. So it's basically supposed to be a blender and a pencil brush all in one. And it does a fantastic job of that, so I don't really care what it looks like. It's very, very soft, and it works great, actually. I really like this brush. Kudos. This is the E15. Formerly known as the 212. This is a flat liner brush that's perfect for using with gel and cake liners. It really is good at getting it like right into the lash line, and I think that this kind of brush is actually easier to use for beginners with cake liner or gel liner, because you can just kind of like walk it along your lid and not have to worry about being too steady, because you can, I don't know, I feel like this is easier for some reason. Some people might disagree. This is the E10, the eyeliner, thin eyeliner brush. Now with this one, I feel like it's like, it just like bangs off, so it doesn't come to a point or something, and I feel like with a liner brush I prefer for it to kind of come to more of a point. That said, I've yet to find my holy grail, you know, thin eyeliner brush. I think this is an improvement over the 209, which was much larger and was better for like using for lips or something rather than the eyes, because it was just too thick. And part of my dissatisfaction, I guess you could say, I don't think that's a word, but anyway, I'm just starting to get back into doing like gel and cream and cake liners, and I'm kind of like dragging my heels and kicking and screaming. I don't know why. I just got so used to like the pen style liners, and I guess I've gotten a little lazy. Alright, so the last brush is the E20. This is formerly the 214. This is the little smudger brush. I use this one all the time. I love it for under the eye to like kind of smudge things out, you know, to smudge out my top liner. This one works really well for like inner corner to get like a little color right there. And I like that it's black so it doesn't get stained, whereas like a lot of my pencil and smudger style brushes, they get stained from black eyeliner and things like that. So yeah, all in all, I think that the Sigma Premium Professional Brush Kit's pretty good. I don't think that, unless you need or want all the brushes, I don't think that buying the whole kit is probably the most cost-effective thing. However, if you do want all or at least most of them, it's definitely more cost-effective. And I have all that information about, you know, how much it costs to buy them individually versus just getting it all in one on my blog. So if you want to go ahead and check out my blog now, that'd be cool. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this very long review video. I know I can get a little long-winded, but I want to give you guys all the information and not have it just be like a I liked this, this is great kind of a review video, because I don't do those. Have a great day, and I will see you guys very soon. I think I'm going to have a couple more videos about brushes coming up in the next couple days, including the brush guards, and I think I'm going to make a video about the new Sephora IT brushes. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.